Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the fucking idiot who recorded his Hyder Amil versus Fernie Garcia video with no audio. And I'll talk about that fight in a minute, but first I'm going to talk about Bolaji Oki taking on Timothy Cuamba. Timothy Cuamba is replacing Damir Hadjovic, who had visa issues, just like Albert Duraev. And this guy, Timothy, just fought a week ago, on Friday or Saturday last week, at Tough Enough 135, and he got a second round head kick TKO and looked really good doing so. And it was against one of the best fighters he's fought. He's a guy with an 8-1 record, and only a few of his wins mattered, and this was one of them. This guy, Michael Stack's a good fighter, and he put him away. I think he's the only guy to put him away, too, with a head kick. Although, if I'm being honest, the stoppage wasn't perfect. There's a little room for another few seconds, I guess, maybe. But either way, he knocked him down and pounced on him, and even without the stoppage, he still looked like he was on his way to a victory, in my opinion. I thought he looked really good. His strength is fighting on the outside, using his speed, his footwork speed, and his striking speed. He's a very fast striker, great hands, and good kicks as well, apparently. That was a beautiful kick. But definitely more of a boxer. And I think he's a very different striker than Damir Hadjovic. Damir Hadjovic is slow and plodding, brings the constant pressure but without the volume. And this guy's the opposite. He brings the volume and he can bring it on the back foot as a counter. He's got a great counter striker and he can definitely pour it on. He's got some great speed. Here he's going to be the smaller guy. He's a 145er fighting Bolaji Oki's 155. And he's going to be giving up size and strength, no doubt. I think there's a distinct physicality advantage for Bolaji, especially if he's able to get his hands on him. But also on the outside, Bolaji's going to have the heavier hands. He's going to be the more powerful guy, definitely. And Bolaji Oki's an excellent striker himself, like I mentioned in the last video. I'm not going to repeat all that, but excellent fighter, great body work, even if only one of his wins is recorded as a body shot knockout. The bodies, where he's gotten plenty of them, at least 3 TKOs as far as I can tell, and beating some good guys. The guy, Dylan Salvador, on the Contender Series, and that was one that I considered a body shot, by the way, but he just poured it on him, hit him with every strike in the book. And I think Bolaji Oki has incredible speed himself. I don't know if he's going to be the faster guy on his feet, but his strikes themselves are very fast. And I favor him to win this fight. I think if Timothy Cuamba... I do think Timothy Cuamba can win. I think the odds are pretty damn close to appropriate at plus 160 for Timothy Cuamba. But I do favor Bolaji Oki. I think Bolaji Oki can bully him around on the inside. He's got explosive takedowns on the outside. And I think on the feet, which is where they both want to be, I'm assuming, Bolaji Oki still gets the bigger moments. The potential finish certainly comes first to him. And he's very fast himself. So even though Timothy Cuamba could be tough to catch and play the matador, I think Bolaji Oki could be a very fast bull. So Bolaji Oki is the pick. I'll pick him to win by decision. I should mention Timothy Cuamba, his one loss as a pro is by rear naked choke. And he did not look good in there. He was shooting a takedown. It was being defended for like 2 minutes. And then he got put in like an anaconda and the guy snaked around to a rear naked choke and got him. It was not a good look for him at all. That's the only way he's lost as a pro, and it's the only way he's lost as an amateur. I haven't seen the amateur loss, but it was another 2-minute rear naked choke. So you have to look at the record and whatever, and I'd have to say his biggest weakness is submissions on paper, submission defense, but that is certainly not Bolaji Oki's primary strength. So I'm going with him winning by decision, and I'm going with Timothy Cuamba having a good chin, but I can't count on anything here because there's just, I don't know that much about either fighter yet. So Bolaji Oki is the pick, but Timothy Cuamba, I think he's still going to be in shape, and I think he's got some advantages. Being the smaller guy could present an interesting striking battle, whereas Damir Hadjovic would have been a little bigger but slower and easier to work around. So I'm hoping to see a good fight, but I'm picking Bolaji Oki. Now for Hyder Amil versus Fernie Garcia, pretty much the same thing. Fernie Garcia, he's a guy that is taking this fight with his back against the wall, 3 consecutive defeats. I do think this is a more favorable matchup for Fernie than those defeats. You know, I don't think Hyder Amil is going to be able to duplicate the success of Rinya Nakamura or Brady Heastand. Those are monsters on the ground. And Journey Newsom's a black belt too, but he doesn't really use it. But I think still Hyder Amil is a bigger, relentless striker. I'm assuming he's in better shape. I'm, thinking Fernie took this fight with his back against the wall, so there's no trusting what kind of shape he's in. I think he's in keep himself ready shape, which might not work for him in round 3. And I also don't think Fernie Garcia's got the danger to bring the change the fight with big moments. Fernie Garcia's got 1 knockout. It's over Joshua Weems, which is his best victory, but that's it. I mean, the power would have hit the surface before that, in his other 10 wins, and it just didn't. He's got some submissions, I think 2 rear naked chokes or 3 rear naked chokes over guys who aren't so good earlier on, and he's got some tight decisions. Now, I've seen a lot of these tight decisions. The one against Ryan James or whatever, he definitely won that fight. But Fernie Garcia is he's not dominant on the ground. Seems like he's prone to the scramble, where you can just hit a switch and get out under him. I don't trust him on top. I think he's at a disadvantage physically in this fight anyway. I think his only real advantage is winning a boxing battle. And even there, I can't trust him to do so, because Hyder Amil is a very good striker himself. He's bigger, stronger, brings more pressure. He has some shitty tendencies, keeps his hands down and whatever, but his chin hasn't failed him yet. And I think for 2 healthy fighters, and neither guy being so dangerous, I'm trusting Hyder Amil to score more points. Whether it's over the course of 15 minutes in a striking battle that could theoretically favor Fernie Garcia, I think still in this case, under very short notice and whatever, he's at a disadvantage in a 15-minute fight. And I think if these guys are grappling, Fernie Garcia isn't going to be able to secure dominant position and bully Hyder Amil around so easily. I think Hyder Amil would be a little stronger on the inside and would get the better of him there. But this is a matchup where neither guy is really inclined to grapple. And this is one matchup where they're facing an opponent where they could use their grappling, because these guys both have grappling. I just think at the UFC level, they're both going to be reduced to mostly boxers. So there's a time to shine and, mix it up a little bit. There might be this matchup, a very winnable matchup for both fighters. But I do think they're limited. I do think it will largely be on the feet. And I still think Hyder Amil should win this fight. So Hyder Amil is the pick. And Fernie Garcia, I'd love to see him win. But and I do think it's a much more favorable matchup than Rinya Nakamura, Brady Heastand, these monster wrestler, monster jiu-jitsu guy. And I don't expect that matchup at all here. But I'm still picking Hyder Amil because Fernie just, he's not so dominant. So Hyder's the pick. And, of course, Bolaji Oki's the pick. And for bets, I'm staying away from it. Again, the first fight I don't know so much about either fighter, even though I've seen every fight that's available. And I've seen a good amount of them. And the second fight, I think... Fernie Garcia, it's a mixed bag with him. It's tough to gauge where he's at. The one thing I'm sure of is that he's very durable. Very durable. Seeing him get his ass kicked on the ground, and he hasn't been beaten or been finished. And he has that MMA durability. But he was knocked out as an amateur. I don't know that. To John Dodson's brother. I haven't seen the footage, but I'm assuming it was a punch that did him in. But again, seeing him lose 3 consecutive fights, I trust him to go the distance in a losing effort. So, decision for both fighters, I guess, would be the pick. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit, and enjoy the fucking fights.